Hey guys, welcome back to our podcast. And today we're going to talk about what got us into this real estate business. And more importantly, I'm going to talk about how you got into this business. So we're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. So we're going to start with the good. Top reason why you got into this business and what keeps you here.
The number one reason I got into real estate, it was actually my dad's advice. He had been telling me for years, hey, get into real estate. I see you doing really good. You're outgoing, you're personable. And he's like, there's a lot of money to be made, and it could really take you somewhere. So that was the reason why I got into real estate. I didn't really pull the trigger until later on in life, and that's when I was just like, I think something negative has to happen for it to turn into something positive, and that's what happened. Something negative happened in life, and I took a step down in a position I was in, and a little light bulb went off in my head and was like, hey, you know what? I think it's time for a change. I'm going to go get my license. Good, and that's where I got my license.
And you mentioned, obviously, is anybody that wants to get into this business, we're not deterring anybody, but at the same time, you have to understand that you want to make sure that you have either additional income coming in, live at home, have some reserves, because you're not going to hit the ground running. You're not going to close a bunch of transactions in your first month. So make sure you're prepared.
Yeah, number one, you got to be prepared. Yeah. So when I started off part-time, and then it's crazy, man, because I always remember, I always reflect on it. I remember getting off work and everybody would leave the parking lot, and then I would take my my credit union polo off, and then I would put on my, obviously now I have my own brand, and I would put on my shirt or a button up, and I would go to my appointments on the weekends, and I was doing real estate before, in between, after, but I honestly think it pays off. If you come up with a plan and you execute on that plan and you stick to it and stay consistent, because now I'm in a position where, man, I love what I do, and I get to connect with good people. I get to advocate for people, and I get to give them the advice that they need. And I think that means the world.
And then we talked about the fact that just because you're out at 10 appointments for the week, people have to remember we don't get paid, especially because it doesn't get paid just by showing up to your house. They give you a presentation on why you should sell and why you shouldn't sell. Yeah, we only get paid when a transaction closes.
Yeah, there's a lot behind the scenes that people don't see. Yeah,
the bad part about our business, the fact that you do have to work a lot more hours and do a lot of presentations where you don't necessarily just get a paycheck as soon as you show up.
Right. Yeah. That could be the bad. Yeah. But you could look at it in a good way too, where, if you love what you're doing, then you're not going to really see it as work. But yeah, it does get to a point sometimes where, you're putting in all these hours, like you said, and somebody could change their mind. Like, hey, you know what? Or like a life event happens and then they need to put it on hold. It's a lot of people think it's, very easy. It's not, but
And one of the things that I like about you, like you mentioned, is the fact that even if you have somebody that's really motivated to sell, if you really analyze their situation, you've actually told them, hey, look, you're in a better position just staying where you're at.
Yes.
You're essentially saying, I'm taking the paycheck away from the table, but at least you're giving good advice, and that might multiply into a bunch of other deals.
Right. I believe in good karma, and I believe in doing the right thing, and that's what you definitely have to do, right? Ask a lot of questions. And, ask them why they're going to sell or why they're going to buy. And, yeah, you're right. We don't get paid on that. So whether you're doing a seller consultation or a buyer consultation, we don't get compensated until we actually bring the buyer or seller to the finish line. And that's when we get our commission. So it's
different.
It's different. Oh, yeah, big time.
No clock in, clock out.
No.
I mean, we have the freedom like we talked about.
Oh, yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily mean that just because you have the freedom that you're getting a paycheck from the times that you are clocked into.
But you know what, man? I want your opinion on this too. I love what I do. I love the freedom, even though that, my hours are sporadic. I can work 7 days a week. I can work 2 hours one day, and then the next day I can work 10 hours, whatever, right? It's just case by case. But I think that's something that's amazing. You have the freedom,
the flexibility.
Yeah.
I mean, like you mentioned, you don't have to ask your boss to see if you want to take a vacation or not.
Right.
You don't have to clock in, clock out, or say, hey, I'm going to take an extended lunch. Dang, they're going to dock it for my time.
Right. Yeah. That's
actually a pro. Obviously.
That's actually a pro. Yeah.
So the last question I'm going to have is, what keeps you in this business?
Oh man, I think I feel like I got
even though we're going through this changes that we were going through, and who knows obstacles that we're gonna have to overcome. But what keeps you there and motivated?
Man, I don't know. I feel like I have this drive. I feel like I have I'm on a mission, and you just have to treat every day like it's a new project. Mm-hmm. You wake up with the attitude of gratitude, and just got to keep pushing forward. And I think I love what I do. Yeah. So I think that's the biggest thing that's going to keep me moving forward. Yeah. And obviously, setting goals.
I think for the most part, most of us, if we didn't love what we did, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be spending all the time trying to get better.
Exactly.
And obviously provide the best service we can for people.
Yeah, you got to love what you do.
So, I mean, that's the biggest motivating factor, I think, as we wake up every morning. I know I don't clock in, but I'm in work mode pretty much every day.
Yeah.
So we're here to service people, and we're here to make sure that they get taken care of. And
100%.
Help grow the business, not necessarily for ourselves, but for the community. And
doing the right thing.
Right?
Yeah.
Treat people right.
100%.
So make sure you reach out to us, guys.
Let us know.
This is more personal to us as far as the business is concerned than most people, I think, because
behind the scenes,
we don't treat it as a paycheck. We treat it as a career and a support for the community.
Yep. Let us know, guys.
All right. See you guys.